Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Jeff Winkle, and I will be your professor for HU Humanities 212 Classical Mythology online for this semester. So, in this brief video, I just wanted to welcome you and to just briefly introduce myself and just to give you a broad overview of kind of the nuts and bolts of the course. Make sure after you watch this, you watch the second video in the orientation folder, which gets more specific and walks you specifically through the syllabus and also takes a peek at the course Blackboard site. Yeah, again, a very hearty, warm welcome to all of you. Like I said, my name is Dr. Jeff Winkle, and I have been a professor here at GRCC for the last 6 years. And I'm really excited about this class. This is one of my favorite classes to teach, as it's right squarely in my own academic background. As an undergraduate, I studied classical languages, so ancient Greek and Latin. I studied ancient history from various perspectives: architecture, archaeology, philosophy, military history, cultural history, you name it. But what I really kind of settled on was mythology and kind of ancient religions in particular. So when I went off to graduate school, I went off to pursue a doctorate in what in the academic world we call classics. That is anything having to do with the ancient Greek and Roman worlds. And my specific focus was the ancient religions amongst the ancient Greeks and particularly amongst the ancient Romans. And so classical mythology, Greco-Roman mythology, which is the focus of this class, is something that I have long been passionate about, and I've read and studied and taught for many years on this subject, and it never gets old for me. So so like I said, this class is squarely in my target zone as for in relationship to the things I've studied, the things that I am currently and passionately interested in. So this class, if you're not aware, is what we call an asynchronous course. And for those of you who are new to online learning, this means that we will not be meeting weekly at a scheduled time. We won't be having Zoom meetings. I will not be giving Zoom lectures at set times. What we will have are kind of weekly folders. You'll find on the Blackboard site, if you go under the weekly assignments tab, you'll find that every week will have its own folder. And what I'm asking you to do is to complete the week in that folder by the end of that week. Now, I'll be a little bit freer, a little bit looser as we get started. I know it takes some people some time to get the textbooks and to kind of find the rhythm of the course. And so, I'm not going to be kind of closing things at the end of this first week. But by the time we're about 4 or 5 weeks in, I'm going to assume everybody has the textbooks. Everybody's kind of got the sense of kind of how the rhythm of the class works. And then I will expect you to be completing assignments on a more kind of timely basis. But when you look at the video that takes you through the syllabus and through the Blackboard, I think you'll find this is very kind of self-explanatory and fairly intuitive. So yeah, you work at your own pace. I highly encourage you not to kind of save all the work to the end of the week. In the folders, I'll give you kind of a suggestion of how you might break down the week's assignments into more kind of digestible pieces. But as early as you can, get started on the work and do your best to complete it by the end of that week. That way, if you kind of keep a kind of a nice regular rhythm to it, you're just going to get so much more out of this class than if you try to cram it in at the last minute. As far as kind of first steps, I think the first thing that you can do to get yourself off on the right foot is to get the 2 texts that I've ordered for this class. So you see here on the screen, this will be our anchor text, Barry Powell's Classical Myth text, which is an excellent resource. It covers the vast sweep of classical mythology. The majority of what's in there is, of course, Greek mythology, and that's the majority of what we're going to be looking at in this class as well. But it dips its toes into Egyptian, Middle Eastern, Near Eastern, Roman mythology, and does a really good job of breaking down of how it's all connected. I've ordered the most recent edition of the Powell text. Again, if you can find an earlier edition that's cheaper, I am all in favor of students saving money, as the cost of textbooks is crazy. So if you find an older edition, they're really not all that different. There might be a new section thrown in a newer edition or an old one taken out. and sometimes the page numbers won't jive with what I'm asking you to. But if you want to save money, yeah, do find an older edition. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And then the other text that I've ordered for the class is this translation of Homer's Odyssey. We're going to be reading the entirety of Homer's Odyssey. And this too, again, I encourage you to get this translation. As I'm sure some of you know, the original of the Odyssey was composed in ancient Greek. And we'll actually be doing a little bit of ancient Greek together in class. And there have been dozens, hundreds, if not thousands, of translations of Homer's Odyssey into almost every language in the world, and dozens of translations of the Odyssey in English as well. This one, so again, if you've tackled the Odyssey, say in a high school class, or you have a copy of it on your bookshelf in another English translation, say, well, why should I buy this one? That's fine. Again, I want you to save money where you can. If you're able to swing it, and then this text isn't all that expensive, again, you can find used copies for under $10 out there. It's a really good one. And when it comes time to testing and quizzing, if I'm quoting from a text, I will be quoting from Stanley Lombardo's translation here. So if you can swing it, please get this one, because it's really readable. It stays close to the Greek, but it uses English idiom in a way that doesn't kind of alienate and isolate modern readers. It's really well done. So if you can do it, please pick that up. So get these as soon as you can. There will be other readings in the text, but those will be things I will just simply upload to Blackboard, which you can pull up at no cost to yourself. All right, so that's it for just kind of a brief introduction. And make sure, again, you watch the second video, which gets more specific with the syllabus and the Blackboard site. See you soon.